business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the pod.
Welcome to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. Every episode is an invitation, a reminder that business and life isn't just about profit. It's about purpose. It's about showing up with a servant's heart in every deal, every decision, every day. Today's guest is going to light you up. I promise you. Spend 10 minutes with her. I'm so fired up right now. You'll be motivated. You'll be challenged. And most importantly, you'll walk away with the tools that inspire action, both in your life and in the lives of others. How cool is that? But before we dive in, here's your homework today. Yes, you got homework. How are you going to serve yourself and others today? And if it doesn't have to be, and it doesn't have to be a big impact. It could be a small act of kindness or courage, can change a game for somebody. Why not start today? Don't wait till tomorrow. So lean in, take notes. Let's discover how a servant leadership in business and life can create a ripple effect that lasts far beyond the bottom line and everything else. Hey, a quick shout out to my sponsor, Epic Impact, the 4-step storytelling framework that's transformed how I pitch, post, and podcast. If you're a coach, founder, or creative trying to connect with your audience and move them to action, this is your secret weapon. Engage, persuade, inspire, and close. I use it every day and it's working for me. AI alone can't tell your story, but paired with the proven Epic framework, it can move mountains. So get your free Epic Impact starter kit at epicimpact.com and start engaging hearts, persuading minds, inspiring action with every message. And a shout out, thank you to audience and my wonderful guests, all 700 or so. We just hit top 20 in small business marketing. So my heart is felt towards you. We're going to talk about heart and soul, but my heart and soul goes out to all of you and my guests today for being such a wonderful collaboration, for doing that, because we're making an impact in the world. That being said, I want to welcome my guest because I'm so fired up. Welcome, Camille, to the show.
Thank you, Steve. I'm excited to be here.
You talk about soul and spiritual, and not the woo-woo spiritual, which the universe is everywhere for everybody, and there's different names for it. You have this soul movement or soul professional movement. What does that mean?
So there's a big story behind it, but we define a soul professional by someone who lives in a higher vibration, has an alternative approach to business, and is here to help repair the world. Most soul professionals I find are like logically brained, but soul led, right? And that's who I am, right? They came from corporate careers or structured careers, the doctors, the lawyers, the CPAs, lots of therapists, teachers, those are the people. And they're like, I've done the thing, like everything I expected myself to do, and it doesn't make my heart sing. Like there's something missing. So they're usually what I call this reinvention state, this midlife reinvention, like, okay, I have all of this success, this knowledge, these decades of wisdom. Now what? What do I do with it? And I help them assess what does the next phase look like? Of course, there's a lot of mind and body, is it possible? People don't get paid for that, So the soul professional movement and the soul professional brand is all about the people that have taken that initiative, that next step, that big leap into solo entrepreneurship and, have these global businesses that are in service to others, and they're making these ripple effects in the world. And we are just a free community right now of people that are connecting all over the world. We represent about 30 countries. We've been around for 10 years. So, it's just because I believe that if we all just met each other and worked, we'd create our own ecosystem, right? Because we're all over the world. And if I hire you or you hire me, we have the same core values, we agree to it, and we don't ever have to explain who we are in the world. We just are.
What a great way to collaborate. I know probably the answer to this question. What inspired all this?
So my background was in not-for-profit management. I was
we lost your volume there.
Oh.
There you go. You're back. There you go.
Oh, that's weird. Maybe I moved wrong.
That's what happens when you do live.
So I was the CEO of a large nonprofit, And my job was defunded in 2015, and I found myself kind of going, what's next for me? Because the work I was doing was in organic agriculture, and I was so connected to my work. I was an international speaker, and I was doing all the things. And I was like, how do I continue to make impact in the world? And I really wasn't sure what my next step would be. But when I looked to stay in nonprofit, I was like, okay, I'm nearing on 50 at that moment. And I was like, they can get cheaper people pretty easily, right? So I was like, I'm going to have to take a bet on myself and start to go back into not-for-profit strategic work, which is what I did before I was actually hired for this one, for that job. And while I was kind of looking for my clues in the world, I would go to like business networking meetings. And if I went to the really holistically based ones, I felt like they were way too woo-woo for where I was in the world. And if I went to the business networking, it had a lot of that masculine hustle, salesy kind of energy to it. And that's not who I am in the world. So I was like, how do I tend to blend these two worlds of my logical, my spiritual, my professional side, and my spiritual side? And that's how I ended up creating, just by luck. I started off as a little coffee club. I'm in New Jersey. So I started off just having coffees like, hey, what do you think about having a professional organization that is, for this logically brain soul led, I had different words at the time, right? Person in the world. And people were like, I love that. I was like, and what if we were like the American Medical Association or the Bar Association or a big professional organization that gave all those same benefits? And then we slowly started growing. It was like New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and we grew and grew and grew. And then in 2017, someone from California called me and they're like, oh my God, I've been watching you. I can't wait for you to come out here. And I knew in that moment I did not have a scalable model. I'm a
Yeah.
single mom. I had 3 young kids at home. I'm a full-time. I didn't get to shove them off on weekends. Like this was, and I was like, how am I going to do this? So I had to kind of rethink the model, and I started putting what I used to call ambassadors, doing different coffees for me, right? And but I had heard of this thing called Zoom. And I said, I really believe that Zoom will be our future. And I'm going to have a no chapter, all inclusive professional organization, and we're going to run on Zoom. And we launched in 2018 and went to this big Zoom model and did everything on Zoom. I still had coffee with Camille every single month, but people can come and they can all have coffee with me. And that's
Very
how
cool.
we started this organization. It was all on Zoom. And in 2019, well, 2018, we went national from coast to coast pretty easily. 2019, we went international because I started getting clients all over. Um, and in 2020, you might remember that we had this global pandemic and everyone learned about
Yeah, something.
Zoom. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we just blew
Yeah.
up. I actually couldn't keep up with what had happened. I was one person with a dream.
Yeah.
So we've kind of been figuring, and that's when we trademarked the word soul professional,
Yeah.
because it was
Well,
in that year I was like, oh crap, I think I got something here.
to give you huge credit from a business aspect, pivoting is something people don't do enough, especially with
Yeah.
COVID's taught us that. You pivoted. Kudos to you. I know you're by yourself. You're able to scale, and we'll talk more about that. But I got a lot of entrepreneurs on this that listen to this show.
Yeah.
How does the soul drive help with an entrepreneur? It's got to be different than a small, medium-sized business, right?
It could be. Like I tend to work with people that are under 1 million, right? Solo entrepreneurs. But we do have some that are scaling beyond 1 million at this point because we've been around for a while, right? And then we talk about scaling with soul. So we don't change our direction just because we're making more money. It's how do we still scale in the same flow? But to me, what I talk about most is the authenticity behind it. How are you showing up authentically in your business? How are you loving what you do? And one question I ask people is, if you were to win the lottery today, what would you get up and do tomorrow?
Great
Because
question.
that's how my father had taught me to know that I love my work, right? He said, I would still do this if I won the lottery. So when I was developing something or when I develop businesses with others, those are questions I ask. What does it look like? Where are you? What are you surrounded by? You know, a lot of people are talking about freedom and travel. And I was like, okay, let's build that into the model now, right? And showing up authentically, which is actually something that I speak on, especially in communities all the time. That's what I'm hired to do. Showing up authentically in business. It's in your marketing, it's in your words, it's, you know, in front of, I still meet with clients and have clarity calls because my energy shows when I show up on video. That's my
Yep.
energy. That's my superpower, right? So that's what I have to do, and I continue to do it. Is it a little slower? Yeah, it is, but it's not exactly the same. Of course, you know, YouTube and other things can get me out there a little bit differently, right?
Yep.
But you have to show up as who you are. And actually, you can see for anyone who's looking, I'm growing out my gray, and it's because a couple months, it was actually at the beginning of the year, and I was like, how can I talk about authenticity when I'm hiding who I am? That I'm refusing to do that any longer. I'm just gonna, this is who I am in the world. I'm gonna be 60, right? This is who I am in the world, and I'm okay with it. Stop pretending to be something because society told me that that's not cool or that doesn't look good
Yep.
or it makes you look old. Like, I don't care, right? So I talk about just being authentic. It's not posting every single day if you don't have anything important to say, because AI can create a post, but it doesn't mean it's you. It's from your heart. It's not really your story. If everyone else can put it out there,
Yeah.
right? You're better off doing quality over quantity in every aspect of your business. It's authentic quality over quantity.
Imposter syndrome comes to my head. It's exactly what you're
So,
talking about. Let's
yeah.
remove that. It's funny too. You just developed a documentary that you don't even know you did. So if you're out there listening, me and Camille will talk to you because what a question asked a documentary on 100 lottery winners. Just ask that question, interview them. What do they say? So it's
I'll
something to
quit
think
my
about,
job.
Artie. Yeah, which is probably 100%. Interesting. Purpose and values are a big part of your soul. Should I change
Yes.
it?
Should
My
you
values
change
and
what?
should my values and purpose?
I think your values and purpose need to be aligned with exactly who you are.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
Like when I teach what's called a business accelerator and mentorship program, which is my signature program when I'm teaching people, which I used to do one-on-one. Now I do in groups because it actually is exponential when you work together. But the very first, like the first 3 weeks, we're working on your absolute uniqueness in the world. Is so you that no one else can duplicate. And people are like, there's nothing. I don't have that. Like, and we really drill down to be like, what is so unique? Because once you nail it, no one else can do it. Like, I have this very unique blend and background in my world, like everything that I've done. No one else can duplicate that. Like, you either get me or you don't get me, and that's okay, right?
Yep.
It's a choice we all make. But our core values is a big part. We talk about, like, my core values is belongingness, which is my community, belongingness, because a lot of people hide their spiritual side. So feeling belongingness, supportive. For myself, it's integrity. That's a personal one. You know, honesty, purpose driven. Like, core values show up for yourself and in your business. So they should be the pillars that your business stands on.
Yep.
Right. In the soul professional movements, there's a pledge that people take, right? And it outlines the pillars and core values that we stand on. And it's saying, are you agreeing to this? And most people go, I'm already this. So of course. But if you're not, you're probably not going to sign it, right? So core values is a big part of it, but it has to be authentic. You can't
Yeah.
pretend to have integrity if you don't, right? That shows. And I think it also goes into your marketing. You can't attract who you are not, right? You can only attract yourself in the world. So when you have those core values, that's what you attract. When you pretend to be something else, like your marketing saying one thing and that's not actually who you are, you can't attract. You're not going to get the people that you want in the world.
It turns the magnet off. The people magnet just has
It turns the magnet. It's like,
off. Yeah.
yep. I always say your light isn't shining bright, right? You're dimming your own light.
Yeah.
We attract by shining brighter like a beacon. I always look at myself as like the lighthouse, right?
I was thinking the lighthouse. Yeah.
That's exactly how I see myself. Like
Yeah.
I have to shine brighter. I have to shine brighter. And that's going from within. That's
right.
That's not doing extra stuff externally.
So this is exciting stuff. I get so many notes here. People listening, I know they're thinking this because I've had people reach out to me when they have a guest. Okay, I love this soul professional. I love this model. What's my first step?
So if you're listening and you're a soul professional, like this so resonates with me, I would say the first step is to go sign the pledge at soulprofessional.com. There is a pledge, there is a movement, we are talking about it, and we're asking, what do you need in the world to make this easier? That's the step we're in right now, is how can we help? And we do have free networking. I have free business classes. Everything's free right now because we're collecting the people all over the world. Now my database is over 10,000 people, but right, I know what they need. But we're bringing in new people and we're saying, what do you need? And I think we need to have some global conversations, especially around culture, that we really hope to have in the future.
Amen to that. Oh my God, culture. I mean, the world. We're not going to get into that because that could go in a rabbit hole we don't want to go down. So you've done this 10 years. I'm excited to hear any success stories you had with clients. I know you have a bunch of them, but anything stand out you want to share?
Yeah. Oh my God. So many. One of my favorite, this is kind of an older one, but it's definitely one of my favorites from the very, very beginning, because she joined us, like she heard about us and she joined, and she's also from New Jersey. She still is a mom, 4 children, and had a therapist business. She's a licensed therapist, and she's like, this is kind of what I want to do. She's like, but I'm doing it as a hobby, and I've never really just fully kind of stepped into it, and I'm ready. So this is when we had the membership would start to come up, and the mastermind that I run was part of that membership. Now it's separate. She would show up twice a month, show up. How can I build this? How can I build this? And we ended up building out her business pretty slowly, but building it. It was all in person at the time, right? All brick and mortar, taking insurance, but we were bridging it. And then within a year or two, she had a full office, and it came through conversations, which actually became a part of our thing. And we had the goal of have 20 conversations a month, every single month, right? And that became our actually 2020 goal, because it was 2020 to have 20 for 20. We called it 20 for 20. 20 conversations every single month. And she immediately went full time. And she's like, I got this. This was before pandemic, by the way. And she's like, I got this. And she started having conversations around who could really support her, refer into her, right? So it wasn't the end client. It was really the people around her, the doctors and support staff that could come into her. So she ended up getting full time. And she's like, and it was easy, like in 6 weeks, she's like, I got this. And I'm like, clearly you're good at what you do, because otherwise this wouldn't happen. Right. And she's like, yeah, but I'm done. I'm full time now. I was like, no. I was like, that's not how it works. Let's start getting you a wait list. So as soon as someone, right. So then it was the wait list. Then it was, let's increase your pricing, right? Because it's too easy for you to fill. So obviously there's a gap, right? And then let's get rid of insurance, because now you're making your full rate. So these are all things that we had been working on. And little by little, it was all happening. Oh, I have a wait list now. I got this. And then in later, like March of 2020, it might have been a little later when it finally started happening, COVID hits. And she's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I was like, okay, let's start working through this. And her goal, 2 weeks before COVID hit, she said, I want to do 6 figures this year. And I was like, great. And that's when we did let's raise your prices. Let's start right. And then COVID hits and she's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have 4 kids and she homeschooled every one of them. I said, what is possible, right? With everything, what is possible here? What are you willing to do? She's like, I'll work 2 days a week. I said, okay, let's do that then. Right. So working 2 days a week, it was Tuesday and Thursday. Now they were long days. They were like 14-hour days. Tuesday and Thursday, so she could homeschool the kids the rest of the time. Tuesday and Thursday, booked back-to-back clients. By September, she had hit her 6 figures. She has no more insurance. She's actually now, because we're 5 years later, right? She's written, I want to say her 3rd book was just released. She's written books. She actually has help now and associates. So we teach building, right? Building with associates that are maintaining that practice. And she's actually gone off into another area of therapy that she really wanted to get into sleep, and is working in that whole area. So it was just from a hobby. She came to me with a hobby and an idea, but she was willing to do it. And I think that's the big decision is you have to, I call it decide, declare, do, right? You have to make the decision to do it. You have to tell others you are doing it, and then you have to do it. Decide, declare,
Secret sauce.
do.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't take action. Even the wrong action, like I'm not going to do it, is better than, let me wait. Don't ever do indecision. It's a killer for businesses. Just drops them dead.
Indecision is a decision, right?
Exactly. Thank you very much. We're coming to the end here. God, in 4 or 5 words, what is your legacy going to look like?
I want my legacy to be the sole professional name, obviously, to live on in the world. But all of the people that I help get their gifts to the world, to me, that's the ripple effect, right? If I can help you, anybody that's listening, get their gifts to the world, even if they help 10 people, right? Those 10 people help 10 more people, and it keeps having that ripple effect. So my goal is really just get your gifts to the world, and let me help as many people as possible bring goodness to the world, because we all rise together that way, right? The world needs repair at this point.
Yeah, high tides raise all ships, or whatever.
Yes,
I screw that up all the time. But people, you know what I'm talking about. And it's interesting because legacy and all this lifts those, having that purpose tied to your legacy. So that's beautiful what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Let's come. We're coming to the end. I got a great fun question. It's nothing to do with business. It has to do with you.
Okay.
I'm going to learn a little bit more about Camille. So I've got a reservation at a restaurant, table of 4. You're going to sit in one of the chairs, obviously. She's got 3 empty chairs. Who is Camille going to invite, whether they're dead or alive?
Okay.
And what food is she going to order?
The food is easy.
Okay.
Because it's always whatever the chef recommends.
Easy peasy there.
You can never go wrong with a chef recommendation, because that is what is best for that evening.
Yep.
Oprah Winfrey by far is my, if you had a bench. I don't even know what I'd say, but just being in her presence, I would love. Prince, the musician Prince.
Interesting.
Is actually one of my spiritual guides that I always say, please, because I find him to be one of the most creative people, and he was silent about it. When he went to towns, a lot of people don't know that, like, when he played in a town, he always gave back to that town anonymously. And he always gave back to the kids, the community, and he did it anonymously, which I loved. Who would my 3rd one be? Not sure. A bunch, like, names are going, but I was like, I don't know what I give that seat up. Even Napoleon Hill is always, I read absolutely everything that man has ever done or put out. But there's a lot of good ones.
We'll go Napoleon.
Yeah.
That's a good one, especially those other 2. What a great conversation they'd have, for sure. And I'm with you. Chef recommendation is always the way to go. I love how you think. You're a blessing. You
Thank
showed
you.
your soul today. You showed us how we can use our soul, because I believe everybody in the world has it, from a baby to an 89-year-old person. We all
Oh,
have
yeah.
souls. It's what you do with them. And you've showed us a great route. I know people listening are going, how do I connect with Camille? So how can they do that?
So soulprofessional.com is the greater. Camille L. Miller, which you can also get through soulprofessional.com, but that is where you can find about me. Always on LinkedIn, YouTube, as long as you have the L, because there is a singer with the same name. So Camille L. Miller, you Google it, I'm there in many ways.
Yes, and we'll put it in the chat, all the notes. So if you don't like Google or Safari, whatever you do, you're
Whatever you do.
searching. Yeah, we'll have all the links, and they'll reach out to me. If you can't follow, I'll get you connected, because I want to get connected. If you're interested, which you should be, I want to connect you, because this is just a game changer. Thanks again, Camille. You've been an incredible guest. And audience, here's your homework for the end. Yeah, I love giving homework. You know why? Because this is powerful. If you're listening to this podcast with Camille and you resonate with somebody that needs to dive into their soul more in their business, or maybe their life, this doesn't have to be business, it can be life as well. Share the link, and they have an impact. That's what podcasts are. They're the gift of life and business. People go, well, think about it. If you share it and it affects somebody and they reach out to Camille, become part of her network, or reach out, whatever they do with Camille, and it makes a difference in their life, pay it forward. Let's share these gifts. It doesn't have to be my podcast, anybody else's podcast. If you resonate with it, subscribe so you get those links and share them out. I do it all the time. It's the greatest opportunity to really impact people's lives. With that being said, me and Camille want to thank all of you for watching or listening to this podcast. We'll see you all in the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.